Just get her introduced.
Hi, okay, so I've got my 8 audience members here. One sec. There. There. Look on FaceTime. We got 2 on FaceTime. Wait, yeah, there. And 2 more. Okay. All right. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. That's perfect. All right. Cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, coronary heart disease. What if all these things could be a thing of the past? The mother who agonizes watching her child receive painful and lengthy chemotherapy treatments every night. The son who watches in despair as his father slips between his fingers, unable to remember his son's name due to his recent Alzheimer's diagnosis. We can change the world so that all these things are a thing of the past. Stem cell research has been at the front of the fight for each and every one of these horrific diseases since they were discovered. Stem cell research has had a difficult and controversial past and has had the misfortune of being subject to people's religious convictions. Its potential for medical treatment, including the treatment and potential curing of some of the world's worst diseases, is simply too important to ignore. By the end of this speech, you will better understand the more controversial elements of stem cells, their potential medical benefits, and the socioeconomic ramifications of expanding the stem cell research program. From there, you will be able to form your own opinions on the topic, but I hope in the end, you stand with me supporting the expansion of the stem cell research program. Stem cells have been a polarizing topic since their study was first advocated for after their discovery. It's important to have an understanding of what stem cells are and their history in relation to science and medicine. And stem cells were first isolated in 1978 in human cord blood. In 1981, the first in vitro line of stem cells was developed from mice. 7 years later, in 1988, we developed them in hamsters. And finally, in 1995, we developed a line of stem cells in a primate. In 1997, the first successful attempt at cloning was Dolly the sheep. Dolly was made using stem cell technology. Leukemia was later found to originate from cancer stem cells. This, along with Dolly's inception, encouraged scientists to explore new routes for treating humans, such as cloning human organs for transplants, or cloning blood for emergent situations, or in the case of cancer, just treating cancer with stem cells, a fresh approach for the cancer community. Stem cells, however, are not without their own bad publicity as well. In 2005, one scientist claimed to have produced embryonic stem cells from an unfertilized human egg. Again in 2005, as well as in 2007, researchers claimed to have found new types of stem cells in umbilical cords and amniotic fluid, respectively. They claimed that these were more versatile and more unique in important ways to the scientific and medical community. Unfortunately, all of these claims turned out to be falsified data in an attempt to secure more funding for further research. This is one of the problems with the field. Due to pushback from religious groups and staunch pro-life organizations concerned with an uptick in the number of abortions in America in hopes to provide further genetic material for the expansion of the stem cell research program, funding and even legality has been a difficult luxury to come by. While no federal law ever actually banned research, it did limit funding and limit the uses of stem cell research. In 2001, President Bush went so far as to limit the number of lines that were available for stem cell research to a mere 19, essentially bottlenecking access to genetic material. The one positive that came from this new law was that scientists were forced to discover new ways to harvest stem cells, and many of those new techniques are still in use today for further research. In 2009, President Obama opened up the restrictions limiting research to only non-embryonic stem cells. He also provided a significant injection of funding into the stem cell research field. Stem cell research has progressed in a dramatic fashion as of today. New studies are being produced every year. And stem cells are now already being used to treat diseases like heart disease and leukemia. Although researchers have a long way to go to fully control stem cells, the outlook is bright and the possibilities are seemingly endless. Stem cells are one of medicine's most significant discoveries. They are capable of, what they are capable of and their potential from a healing standpoint are arguably second to none. Stem cells were found to be capable of producing any type of cell by mimicking the blueprint of the cells adjacent to them. They were miracle workers. But the problem was there were few places that stem cells could be harvested from, and one of the main sources was from aborted fetal tissue. This resulted in a lot of pushback and negative publicity from anti-abortion groups and religious groups. It resulted in a lot of misinformation to the public and a grassroots campaign to shut down the stem cell research that would eventually reach some of the highest courts in the land. The legal battles that ensued would delay the study and advancement of stem cell research and medical technology that would result from it by years or even decades. Despite its bumpy history, stem cells can be used to treat diabetes, cancer, to grow new bones, to fight infection, to cure Alzheimer's, and eventually even for cosmetic surgery purposes such as breast augmentation or hair loss. The problem is mastering the science of stem cells. That science is still years and possibly decades away. Currently, only 2 types of stem cells are used to treat ailments in humans, but scientists are working hard to change all that in the near future as access to the genetic material necessary and to the funds that are needed becomes more readily available. There is another consideration that must be weighed in all of this. As tasteless as it may seem, there is a fiscal and social impact that must be weighed in this debate. The current cost to taxpayers for Medicare, Medicaid, and undocumented aliens with no insurance ranges in the trillions of dollars per year, and that's just to diseases that stem cells aim to cure, as you can see in the packets I've provided you today. Many of these diseases are increasing in numbers. One of these charts shows heart disease is up to 4.6% of the current US population. That's up from 3.5% in 2000. Diabetes diagnoses have increased 100% between 1995 and 2010. And according to the World Health Organization, cancer diagnoses could increase as much as 50% by the year 2020. The fiscal and human cost is tremendous and could be limited through further research with stem cells. With enough research and enough funding, many of these ailments could be cured or even prevented altogether. An investment in stem cell research now could save our nation trillions of dollars per year and save millions of people a world of heartache. You can determine for yourself whether the potential good that stem cells could do is enough to outweigh the perceived negatives spouted by the opposition. Although the harvesting of stem cells does, in some cases, come from the tissue of aborted fetuses, there's always a cost to make great leaps. How many lives were lost crossing the oceans to discover the new world, or in the development of vaccines for diseases like polio? How many lives were lost defeating Nazi Germany in World War II? In the end, some sacrifices are worth it. In the case of stem cell research, the cost is quite low, especially in contrast with the potential benefits it has to offer to mankind. As I've outlined, stem cell research is a complicated and often dramatic topic that has taken a political and ethical toll on our nation. It polarizes our families and our friends. But its potential for medical and socioeconomic benefits are way too realistic and far too important to ignore. From helping us keep our loved ones with us longer, to keeping them healthy, to lowering our taxes and improving the health of our society in general. It is a multifaceted perspective miracle. We must inform those around us, help them understand why it is so important, so that we can bring down the walls and knock down the roadblocks to increasing funding and extending the research to stem cell research. I hope you have learned a thing or two today that you didn't know about stem cells, and most of all, I hope you will stand with me in support of further research. Thank you. Okay, we got everybody still with us. Skype, there, and all right. Thank you.